the newer members of our club, but one of the most enthusiastic and outstanding members of our club. Sheila Allison will be given the third speech, and introducing Sheila Allison will be Mr. John Beck.
Good morning. This morning I have the pleasure of introducing a lady who evaluated my icebreaker speech. For Sheila's speech today, I wish the same kind of warm, cheerful, and positive encouragement that she shared with me. Sheila will be speaking in reference to project number 6, Vocal Variety, from the Competent Communication Manual. The objectives in this 5 to 7 minute speech are use voice volume, pitch, rate, quality to reflect, add meaning and interest to the message. Use pauses to enhance the message. Use vocal variety smoothly and naturally. The title of Sheila's speech is The Power of One. Sheila strongly believes that each one of us has the power to influence, inspire, and enrich the lives of others, and that we do this naturally as we live our lives, and often without even knowing it, the impact that we have made. The speech shares and describes some of Sheila's personal experiences with the power of one. Please help me give a warm welcome to Sheila Allison.
The power of one. The power of one. One candle can light a room. One star can guide a ship. One vote can change a nation. One person can make a difference. Many people have made a difference in my life. I'm going to share with you a couple of those stories. When I was a young student nurse, I was becoming very disillusioned with things. The lectures were long and boring. The hospital routines were, well, routine. I thought about dropping out. This was not what I had signed up for. I wanted to save lives. I was spending more time scheming how to get in and out of second-story nurses' residence windows after midnight than I was memorizing the cranial nerves. Then one person changed everything. Miss Coe. Miss Coe was a tiny, fiery Filipino nursing instructor who blew into our small southwestern Ontario town and made a difference in my life. She didn't give long, boring lectures. She gave fabulous forums. She talked about real patients with real problems. She didn't just talk about anatomy and physiology and pathology. She connected it, the mind-body connection. She talked about the social and emotional and psychological impact of our health. She had enthusiasm and inspiration like no one I had ever met before in my profession. And that inspired me for the rest of my career. Another person who made a difference in my life was my first tutor for my first distance education program. I was a young registered nurse when I was appointed to my first head nurse position. I was very confident in my clinical and leadership skills. And I made a lot of changes in my department. Good changes that I knew were leading edge. And I enrolled in a distance education program for nursing administration. The question for my first paper, the key question, was, what will you do to move your program forward by implementing innovative and creative changes? Whoa, no problem there. I wrote at length about the wonderful things I had done and waited for snail mail in those days for my paper to come back from my tutor. I tore open the envelope when it arrived. Written across the top of the page in big, leafy, red handwriting was unsatisfactory plus. I never was sure whether the plus meant it was more than unsatisfactory or somewhat less. I was devastated. I was great changes. But I want to hear about what you could do. I want to hear about your vision for your program. I want to hear what creative and innovative things you will do that will challenge the status quo, that will push the envelope. So I wrote and wrote and wrote and resubmitted my paper and waited for it to come back. And it came back with A+. What a lesson I had learned. As Oliver Wendell Holmes once said, a mind once stretched by a new idea never regains its original dimensions. I never in my career stopped pushing the envelope. I never let what is stop me from seeing what could be. One person, one at a time. If my nursing instructor had not inspired and engaged me, I might have dropped out of nursing. If my tutor had not failed me and challenged me, I might never have become a transformative leader. My grandson summed up the power of one for me one day last summer. As we were walking home from school, I said to him, "That was really great. You picked up that plastic bottle by the side of the road and put it in the recycling." As we sat down to read his bedtime story that night, we talked about that again. He said, "I know it was good, Grandma, but it's really hard to understand how one person can make a difference." We began to read his fairy tale book. He said, "Oh, look, Grandma, there's a thin gold line down the edge of each page." I said, "Wow, yeah, that's cool." Suddenly, he jumped